What is an expense claim form, and when do you need to use one? Hi, I'm Kimberly Shapcotts, qualified chartered accountant, property investor and entrepreneur. Let's sit down and have a chat. What are expense claim forms? Now, if you've had a job where you've been able to claim expenses in the past, you might have a full awareness of this. However, today we're just going to dive into all of it, so hopefully you can fully understand and appreciate how you are going to use this mechanism within your property company. So the simplest form of what is a expense claim form? Well, your expense claim form is basically claiming something from the company's bank account that you've paid out of your personal pocket. So that might be you've been to the shop and you were doing a refurb and you've been to, say, Wix or B&Q, and you've actually had to pick something up and you've had cash in your pocket and you paid £5 for it. You've now got money that is owed back to you from the company. Or it may be you've used your personal credit card or your personal debit card, but you've definitely not used the company bank account. All of these sorts of things are allowable expenses in the company, but the company has not paid for them yet. So how do we go about dealing with that type of transaction? An expense claim form should be used whenever you've got private expenses that are business related and you want to claim them back from the business. Now, rather than do it after every single expense, which could get very tiresome very quickly, I tend to suggest you do it on a monthly basis. So you can collect everything together, summarise it, and then you put your claim in each month, which then just simplifies the administrative side of this process. So what is included on one of these forms? Now, I'll pop up in a second a form to show you an example, but generally the bits that are included are going to be things like the date of the transaction. What is the expense that you're claiming? What is the amount that you're claiming? Now, if you're VAT registered, you would split this out, and that probably only applies to maybe serviced accommodation and some commercial property sort of businesses. Any other type of property business, you're probably not going to be VAT registered, so don't need to do that side of things. And then you'll total that amount up. You may want to record which property it relates to, so that as you're doing your bookkeeping and including these transactions, you can make sure you've got that information to put into your bookkeeping as you're totting up the reports you may want to be doing to manage the property business. With this expense claim form that, as you can see now, is got all these different areas, what do you need to keep? So what I would tend to say is you need to keep any paperwork. So whether this be a paper receipt, which you can photocopy or scan or take photographs of to include with your expense claim form, and any electronic ones. So you may get emails with the information across. I know we get things like the electrical ones from ERF and Buildbase and some of the wholesalers where they'll email you across a copy of the invoice, which we might pay on a personal credit card. So all of those sorts of invoices you should be keeping hold of so you can put it with your expense claim form. This is the evidence that the taxman may ask for when he's looking at different projects. There's no set format for your expense claim form, so you can have it in any format that you want. So my example today was just an example of something that we've actually done over a period of time. It's keeping all the key information, but you might want to put additional information, and generally we'd say have someone sign it off, and we'd generally say to sign it off and then have someone else approve it to give a appropriate approval and authorization process. You can create your own, and in creating your own, it can be in Word, it can be in Excel, it can be in Sheets, or all the different variants of the Word or Excel type softwares out there. The main thing is you just keep it consistent for you and it makes it a lot easier to manage and maintain this process. In terms of an approval process, normally you'd sign off your own expense claim form to say this is what I am claiming off the company, and typically you'd want to try and have an approval sort of process. So this might be another director, it may be another person in the business, depending how many are involved in the business. If it's only yourself, then there's not really much of an approval process that you can have because there's only one of you. Whereas if there's two of you, you'd be able to have one of you sign off and another person do the approval side of things for you. Is it crucial? No. Is it a good idea? I'd definitely say yes, that you should be including this if you can with your property business. Is there anything else to be aware in this process? Well, not really. It is meant to be a relatively straightforward process. So the key area is you would fill your expense claim form in, put all the receipts with it, sign it off, provide it to someone to authorise it, get them to sign it off and authorise it, and literally transfer the money out of the company bank account back into your bank account. Now the final point to probably mention is, because I know in my case, in some of my businesses, I've not always taken the money straight away. And the reason is you may be partway through a project, you've been paying for things, and you've not necessarily got the money sitting in the company waiting to be repaid to you. You might go, oh, it's not worth me doing the expense claim form just yet. Now, I would say do the expense claim forms as you go along, because it makes sure that you don't forget anything. And that is really crucial to make sure we're claiming all your expenses on any sort of project. However, what will then happen from an accounting point of view of anything that you've paid out but you've not received back? If you're a director, it can be put into your director's loan account to be taken at a later stage. If you're only a shareholder, again, you can have a shareholder's loan account. And if you're just someone working within the business, ideally they would get paid back, or you could have some sort of other loan account for someone who is owed some money. So it doesn't mean don't do it straight away, and I'd definitely be saying do it each month so that you're keeping track of the expenses and you don't lose any in the mix, especially if you're doing bigger refurb projects where there's lots of different expenses kicking around. Hopefully today you've discovered what is included in an expense claim form, when to use one, and what you need to be doing with them. If you do have any questions about when to use them, what to include, then please do leave a comment and we can make sure we get to the bottom of all your questions. Please like the video and do subscribe to the channel. Let's make tax less taxing. Let's make tax less taxing.